What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. Today we finally have the patch notes released for the character balance. I'm a little disappointed in them, to be perfectly honest, but let's jump into looking at some of them. First up, we got Captain America, who, yeah, Captain America is basically getting a target off or invincibility frame, iframe. I'm just gonna call it invincibility frame. I don't know why it's being called untargetable target off. It's just iframe. Why don't we just stick to simple stuff, right? So he's getting a iframe on his skill Spearhead, Go the Distance, Forefront, Forward Resolution. So I want to be able to show you guys exactly what skills, so that way there's like no confusion on those at all. So if we go inside his skill, we can see that Spearhead right here. All of these skills right here are going to basically have an iframe put onto them. So you can see that he has lead the charge, Go the Distance, Forefront, and then Forward Resolution. So on Go the Distance, Forefront, and Forward Resolution, he's going to basically get an iframe on these skills. They're a charging skill. Why he didn't have an iframe on them in the first place, I kind of mentioned that in one of the other videos, that an applicable use for him would have been to have iframes on any of these skills where he was charging. You know, give him either an iframe or some kind of guard gauge recovery. That would have been really beneficial to add that as well while he's making his charge. Now, I don't feel like he's been given enough, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I realistically do not feel like he's been given enough. When he does his Sentinel of Liberty, the Indomitability, I felt like this was a skill perfect to give him an iframe while he was inside of it. Yeah, he's got one skill. Captain America needs way more than this in order to be an improvement. Now, on his potential, I'll jump into some of these individually a little bit later on. On his potential, his first Avenger, where he has status effect resistance, is going to be changed. So right here on first Avenger number 3, the strong will is going to be changed to critical damage. And then on fast recovery, number 3 right here, where's HP recovery, instead of him having HP recovery, he is going to receive cooldown decrease. I start to wonder if they're tone deaf, stupid, or they just, this junior varsity squad that's handling these updates, but they clearly don't understand. Captain America needs the HP recovery. It's just such a low percentage of HP recovery that you should keep the HP recovery. You shouldn't change it to cooldown. The cooldown decrease over here is not going to help him at all. So why they're changing this to cooldown decrease, I don't know. What Captain America needs is more ways in order to recover his HP quickly, and to have iframes on his skills where his guard gauge is in constant recovery. That's what he needs. So the HP recovery inside here is a needed factor. Why are you removing this? If anything, this 0.42% HP recovery should just be bumped up. Like, this is at the lowest level because I haven't leveled this character up, but this HP recovery should basically increase. That's what we would want. Like, the guard damage decrease isn't a good thing because so many characters have ways to literally reduce guard damage relatively quickly. So that's all he's getting. I'm surprised at this. I'm definitely in shock that Captain America isn't getting more. Like, you would have assumed a character so weak in the game would be receiving more, but for some reason, nope. He's not getting any more than that. That's the changes that they had. That was their literally balance patch notes for Captain America. And like, what the fuck? That's not a balance patch. This is not a balance patch. Like, this is stuff that they could have changed, you know, any given day of the week to make changes for. Let's take a look at Captain Marvel though. So she's getting her Mighty Flight, her light speed dash skill. Is going to get a increase to it. So that is, where are we at? Her light speed dash skill here is going to get a 15% damage increase on that skill. I don't really know that a lot of people are using light speed dash. You guys would have to let me know. As well, her energy impact cosmic recharge is getting a 15% damage increase. Her photon flight, further and faster, are both going to receive cooldown 50% increases and damage 15% increase. So their basic thing with it was that they said that they wanted the cooldown of the target off skills and specializations, they wanted them to be increased. So the damage of these skills is increased to compensate for the slightly weakened skill effectiveness due to the increased cooldown. So essentially they're saying because it's going to be a longer time that they're going to put on these to cool them down, that there's going to be an increase in damage to compensate for that. Okay. Anyways, specializations. Inside her specializations, she has skills in here called photon absorption and dodge prediction. So let's see. So here goes dodge prediction, right? So this decreases light speed's movement class cooldown by 0.02 seconds when the dodge skill is used. So right now, the cooldown is going to be increased to 10 seconds instead of 6 seconds. And then on photon absorption, there was no cooldown period. Where is that photon absorption? There we go. On this one, there was no cooldown at all. So now they're going to be adding a 10-second cooldown onto this skill. Now, essentially what's happening is the dodge mechanic is being abused by certain characters, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Captain Marvel. And by adding this cooldown time on them, essentially you're expecting that to, reduce that, reduce the abuse of those. We'll see how well that plays out. I'm not so sure that 10 seconds is necessarily going to help, but I feel like those skills need to be just re-looked at in general, but we'll see how they look in the future. Again, Captain Marvel is a pretty powerful character, so seeing her get some of these cooldown increases on some of her skills, I guess is okay, but we'll have to see overall how those abilities are affected. Next up, we've got Iron Man. Iron Man had he doesn't have very much either, so it's really weird. So some of Iron Man's skill damage is going to be increased. Cooldown of some of the skills will increase, but the damage will also increase. So for instance, the very infamous Iron Man skills, for his spin blade, for instance, the nanite plasma, this skill is going to receive a 25% increase in cooldown. So 25% increase in cooldown, but it's going to also receive a 7.5% damage increase. A 25% cooldown increase while also receiving a, having a required stamina of 39 makes the skills seem like it's, it's going to be one of those layered skills that we'll have to see. At the same time, he's going to get Tactical Satellite Party Time Protocol is going to receive a 10% damage increase, and Arc Energy is also going to receive a Arc Energy Repulsor Charge, not the Repulsor Blast, is going to receive a where are we at? Repulsor Charge right here. This one is going to receive a 10% damage increase overall as well. So we'll have to see how skills like that are affected. I know Party Time Protocol and Spin Blade are definitely two of those used skills for Iron Man. Now there's a lot of debate on whether or not Iron Man's a top tier character or not. He's definitely, you cannot deny, I don't care what you believe, you cannot deny that he's one of the easiest to build characters in the game. Next up, this is where I'm like, are you guys fucking tone deaf or what? But basically everybody is going to build Spider-Man now. Like, bottom line is Spider-Man is going to be the character to build overall in the game. Why do I say that? Okay, let's jump in because the tone deafness of Spider-Man made no sense. So literally, they said Spider-Man's skill performance will be further strengthened and some changes will be applied to his potential so agents can expect a better performance from him. Spider-Man has a stable engagement in combat through evasion, but is somewhat held back in terms of attack. Thus, his status effects resistance stat will be changed to critical damage to boost his strength. Now, no doubt about that. Spider-Man definitely needs somewhat of an attack boost because he's definitely low in attack overall. But this kind of ignores overall the fact that Spider-Man is probably one of the best PvP characters in the game. And so this is where I'm talking about in terms of differentiate between PvP and PvE and the skills and how those are affected. So before we jump into the skills for him, we're going to do it a little bit backwards and we're going to look at his potential and his specialization. So first up, his potential and his Web Warrior number 2, where he has status effect resistance, he is now going to have critical damage, right? So I don't know why. Well, status effect accuracy is a skill needed for him, but status effect resistance is being removed. And then on his specialization, this is the big one, right? On his specialization, Spider's Combat Scorpion Pursuit, where is that at? Where are we at? Jesus, there we go. Spider Combat Scorpion's Pursuit. This is basically the skill that Spider-Man, basically, this is why he gets away so heavily inside PvP. It's almost impossible to target Spider-Man, especially if he has a well dodge build, because he recovers the dodge skill gauge by 3.6% when using a Spider Combat class skill. So essentially, Spider-Man has dodge up all the time, and that's a bit of a problem because that means he's invincible the whole entire time while you're in PvP. The match takes forever as well because he doesn't have a lot of attack going on inside there, so he's just dodging around, and you can't hit him at all. So what they've done for that is they added a 10-second cooldown onto this skill now, so we'll end up having to see exactly how much this affects it, because all this is going to really do is going to have breaks inside of when he's going to be open for attack, but you're still going to have to know when that is open for him, because a 10-second cooldown isn't a lot. It just really isn't. So I'm interested to see how that's going to specifically affect there. We'll see. I'm not sold on it 100%, but we'll see after the update. Then to mitigate those things, he's been given some bonuses. So for instance, Spider Grenade, Super Glue Grenade, he's been given a 15% damage increase. So Super Glue Grenade is there. He's going to get a nice 15% damage increase. Webcraft, where are we at? It's going to be his Webcraft skill, Gyroscope. Where is it at? I don't even see it in here. Oh, there we go. So Gyroscope is going to receive a 10% damage increase as well. Spider Web Swing, Spider Swing, excuse me. I'm so fucking stupid. Spider Swing, where are we at? There we go. So this one right here, his basic level skill, that I don't know who the hell's using this. This is getting a 25% cooldown increase on it. So, you know, and then we're getting a 7.5% damage increase as well. The ambush skill is going to receive a 25% cooldown increase and a 7.5 second cooldown, 25% cooldown increase and a 7.5% damage increase. And then Spider Swing Endless Swing, that's this one right here, is also going to receive the same. So that way, you know, you're looking at basically these numbers bumping up to about 20 is essentially what you're looking at here. And then he's also receiving a damage increase on there. Swing Shot, the most primarily used skill as well, is going to receive the same as well. Now, a few of his other skills, Spider Grenade, the Grand Grenade, where are we at? So Spider Grenade, the Grand Grenade, Web Shooter Mastery, Electro Web. So that's, where are we at? Electro web. Then he has spider wrap, the taser web. So that should be this one. Nope, that's web collapse. Here we go. Taser web, spider bot, the swarm, and even his ultimate skill, spider burst. All of those skills apply shock damage, so they stack shock. So before, they decreased attack by 25% for 7 seconds at the maximum stat. After this, they're going to decrease attack by 30% for 8 seconds at maximum stacks. So a 5% increase with a 1 second increase in cooldown time increase for these length, excuse me, for those skills overall. Spider-Man definitely, you know, started to run into those big boy things. So we'll see how he performs after that. I think you can see with Captain Marvel and Spider-Man, they mostly are trying to engage the fix on the brokenness of the dodge mechanic, because it was definitely a broken mechanic. You felt it. I didn't feel it as much with Captain Marvel, but it was definitely 100% felt 100% felt with Spider-Man. Oh my god, how annoying it was to see Spider-Man in PvP. I still think he's going to be annoying to see inside PvP, but that's just the truth of the matter. Next up, we have Storm. So instead of going through Storm's skills, because there's going to be a lot of them inside here, but I'll try to just highlight the main things, because she just has a whole bunch of skills that obviously applies some kind of stacking effects to strengthen her ability. And overall, her status, her stacks have been changed. So like the skills that had shock, they're getting the same increase that Spider-Man received for his, whereas decreasing the attack by 30% for 8 seconds. And then he's getting her skills that stack chill, those are going to decrease the movement by an additional they were decreasing the movement speed and dodge rate by 30% for 7 seconds. Now they're going to do 36% for 8 seconds at maximum. So it's like, to go through her skills, you know, I'm not trying to put off Storm in any way, shape, or form. She's definitely bae in this game, but it's just a lot of skills that we would have to be talking about, like atmosphere control, the lightning sphere, and electric explosion. So you can see electric explosion there, and then we've got like weather witch, release, chain lightning, electrocution, and stormfront. So all of these skills. Then we go lightning attack, over here, like all of these skills, atmokinesis, all of these skills, and then her ultimate skill, Eye of the Storm, they all receiving boost to those skills by about 5% and then 1 second duration. Her other skills that apply ice, you know, icicle crash, deep freeze, and atmosphere control, and then atmokinesis, wall of frost, they're all receiving stacks. She just works on stacks, so that's good enough there. But like, so let's talk about her specialization though, right? So going into her specialization, wind of protection, where are we at? Like Storm was already becoming there we go. Storm was already becoming one of those characters that was definitely excelling highly inside of PvE especially. So getting her boost to these could help overall the character even more shine, which I think it will. So right now you can see that she basically, before there was a 75% probability to recover 60%. At maximum, this skill will hit 60% of stamina consumed when using an air current class skill. Now after, it's going to be a 50% probability to recover 50% of stamina consumed when skills are used. That's going to be the max. So she's actually getting a nerf in wind of protection. A lot of people probably maybe not going to be happy with that, because it looks like a nerf, right? Because it says 50% probability to recover 50% of stamina consumed, but here goes the difference. This says air current class skills. Now I don't know if the patch notes are wrong, but the after just says when skills are used, so it doesn't rely on using air current skills. So it's a nerf, but it's not really a nerf. You basically go from 75-60 and having to spec into air current to having a 50-50 and it just being skills overall. So I don't know how Storm players are going to perceive this. I'll have to talk to King when to see. I think he's a prime. King is a primary Storm player, so it'll be interesting to talk to him after about that update. Then we've got Goddess of Thunder number 3 right here, where she has status effect accuracy, and we're gonna get this changed to defense pierce. And then Goddess of Thunder as well, she has status effect accuracy, and this is going to be changed to critical damage. Now, interesting that she has so many status effects that she needs to apply, but they're changing it so that way. I don't understand. Like, so for instance, you can see Goddess of Thunder at number 2 still has status effect accuracy. They're not changing it, they're keeping it. And then at 3 and 4, they're going to change it, however, it's defense pierce and critical damage. Look, the defense pierce, the extra 4.15% defense pierce is obviously going to help her. The critical damage is obviously going to help her. But removing those 2 status effect accuracies, will they hurt her overall? She is actually applying status effects with a good majority of her skills. So therefore, it would be beneficial for her to have those status effect accuracies and so forth inside there. So I don't know why they would remove the status effect accuracies from here instead of balancing her out some other way to give her defense pierce numbers. But it is what it is, my friends. So next up, we've got Star-Lord. Sorry that this video is running so long, guys. I hope that you're keeping up with me in these. So next up, we got Star-Lord. So Star-Lord is pretty much more of the same, like for Storm, where he's applying status effect accuracy. So there's going to be a lot of his skills that's going to be changed. So for instance, problem solver, rewind, explosive impact. So if we were to look at his problem solver right here, which is rewind and explosive crescendo and rewind, these 2 skills are all going to have the iframe ability added to them, which isn't a bad thing. It obviously looks like a skill where he's zipping around. It should have some iframe. Now, the thing that they need to get along with is that they're going to probably need to introduce some other mechanics in here other than iframes, meaning some things where they have guard gauge recovery or guard break immunity, for instance, because not all skills automatically just determine that they need iframes in them. Like this skill right here, to have an iframe inside of it while he's making these movements seems like a good idea. Where the break in the iframe comes should be one of those things. Like if I was developing the game and programming, I would say that he probably ended up iframe through the movement, and then since he stopped in place right here, the iframe would end, and then he would continue through the iframe till he broke here. So you wouldn't have an iframe throughout the whole skill because he stops in motion right here. Whether they're going to be that smart to do that stuff, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think inside there. His gravity bomb skill overall is going to receive a skill range increase of 20%. This is good because it definitely always felt like it was way too close to me. And then his elemental cannon, his flame cannonball right here, this one, oh, that's the wrong one. It's the flame cannonball. This one is going to receive a cooldown 50% decrease. So instead of it taking 24.2 seconds, it's actually going to have a cooldown decrease inside of it. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's going to make it necessarily more player friendly. I would have to talk to a battle soundtrack, noise pollution. This skill, where we at? Here we go. So noise pollution is they're going to reduce the skill range as compared to the skill range prior to the improvement. So yeah, so that one's going to have a decrease in range, but they're going to change to a PvP specialized skill. Before, it decreased attack for 8 seconds. After, you cannot use dodge for 3 seconds and decrease movement speed for 3 seconds upon hit. So this should have a really, really significant impact on whether or not players are going to be using this, because they're basically saying that they want to change this to a specialized skill, so that way they're going to basically make it so you're going to want to use a skill inside PvP or Star-Lord. And if you're going to basically say a player can't use dodge for 3 seconds, it opens them up to attack, and you're going to decrease movement speed, so it kind of puts them in place for skills. So next up, he has some skills that apply various effects. So I'm not going to go over all these, but he has skills that stack burn, shock, and chill. So on each of those, so for instance, for his burn skills, it's going to increase the damage received by 24% and 8 seconds. So that's a 4% increase in a 1 second duration. Then his shock skills are going to decrease attack by 30% for 8 seconds, so that's a 5% increase and a 1 second duration increase. And then his skills that apply chill, those are going to decrease movement speed and dodge rate by 36% for 8 seconds, so that's a 6% increase and a 1 second duration. So next up, we've got his potential being changed inside of here as well. So his legendary outlaw 3 for status effect accuracy is being changed to critical rate. His legendary outlaw sharp judgment is being changed to defense pierce. So the same thing I just said about Storm will still equally apply here. Why are you removing the status effect accuracy when these characters rely on status effect accuracy? I don't understand. So I hope that somehow this becomes understandable, because for characters like Storm, for characters like Star-Lord, the status effect accuracy is actually important because they are applying a lot of status effects. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing though. So then we've got Black Widow, who is getting damage increases, and then she is also having one of her specializations change. So let's find Black Widow in here. She should be at the bottom of my order, my least favorite character in the game. Not to say that she's a bad character, she's just my least favorite character to play. Like, I've leveled up all these characters to 100, and I can say that she's just not fun to play for me. And I'm not going to play her because she's powerful. She's definitely fallen probably in some regard to the likes of like Spider-Man and Captain Marvel, but she's still pretty goddamn powerful. So let's take a look at her. So up first, she's got her skills. So we're going to get her Trap Expert Sticky Bomb. Yeah, Trap Expert Sticky Bomb. Where are we at? Where are we at? There we go. So Trap Expert Sticky Bomb. This is an annoying ass skill, right? So that's going to have a damage increase of 10%. So you don't want to get caught in that bitch, right? And then we've got Trained Assassin. Trained Assassin Quick Step Strike. So remember, this was one of those skills that they said that they were going to change the wording on, so that way players knew that this was where the iframe was, right? So Quick Step Strike inside here should have the iframe, which if you looked at the skill overall, she should have iframes throughout that skill because she's really not visible inside here. So the Quick Step Strike should have invincibility on it, but it's going to have a cooldown increase of 50%. So now it's going to be 24 point something seconds, or what is that, or 50%. So it'd be like 18 seconds or something like that. And have a damage increase of 10%. So that's all that's being done to her. Really makes sense because she's not necessarily a character that needs a lot. Meanwhile, her specialization, which is improving, right? So where is that skill at? It's always weird doing videos about other characters because you don't play these characters. So like you'll be like, why do I need to see this character? Here we go. There we go. So this one right here, improvising. It's not improving, right? So this one right here decreases remaining cooldowns of all skills by 2 seconds. This one is basically receiving a 10-second cooldown on them. So unless I'm missing out on some skill, right? Yeah, it's just improving. So it was improvising. Man, you guys really need to work on your translations. So improvising is basically going to have a 10-second cooldown on those skills. 10-second cooldown on this specialization. Lastly, but surely, my homeboy, and I did wait to get to the end for this character because not just because he's in the patch notes there, but because I'm going to do a separate video for this character overall. Doctor Strange is seeing some overhauls as well, but not in the way that I necessarily would have liked. So let's talk about those real quick, and then we'll separate those for another video. So first of all, this is what they had to say about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's power will be strengthened to further highlight the sorcerer's supremacy. He will destroy the enemy's guard to keep them at his mercy and show off his outstanding skills in battle using deadly attacks. So they said Doctor Strange is a hero that can use powerful skills, but each skill has a rather long cooldown. For that reason, he was developed to acquire cooldown reduction stats through enhancing potentials and specializations. But this rather acted as a factor that made agents feel as if he lacked attack power compared to other heroes as his level increases. Thus, we plan to change his stats into more combative stats. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not what's happening. I'm going to let you guys know straight up and down, that's not what's happening. So for instance, let's jump into this, right? So first up, 7 Rings of Ragador, Starve Shackles, Chain Reaction, and Ring of Repulsion are going to have their guard break change from lowest to low and from low to medium. So I'm going to show you these, right? So Magic Explosion, a skill that we don't really use that very often. Like you're not going to use Magic Explosion over Ring of Repulsion. Ring of Repulsion is his bread and butter skill. From guard break lowest now is going to just receive on guard break low. The guard breaks will increase by 1 level. I'm not kidding you. How is this, like, they literally say inside the notes that he's going to break the guard of his enemies so that way he could show off his skills, and literally 7 Rings of Ragador is the only skill that you're changing that's actually breaking his guard. So stupid as fuck. So then they get into a couple of skills that, like, who's using these skills? But I'm being dead honest. Like, so for instance, Vigilante's Sacred Sword is going to be one of his skills inside here that's going to change, right? I cannot kid you guys on this. So Elder Sword, Vishanti's Sacred Sword, is going to be changed. Where is it at? So this skill right here, for instance, right? So nobody uses this goddamn skill. Who the hell is using this skill? The casting motion and speed improvements are going to be pushed on this skill. We're not using this skill. So even if you increase this skill, it ain't gonna matter because nobody is using this skill over $1,000. It's just not happening. The Bladed Defense, nobody's using this skill, period. So before, this skill had no skill effect on it at all. Now when you cast this skill, it's going to decrease damage received by 15% for 9.5 seconds. I don't really know how to make sense to people, because I like, say less, you know what I mean? Because we're talking about using Bladed Defense, and you're talking about it being decreasing the damage received by 15% for 9.5 seconds. I don't know how to say this in a better way. Doctor Strange can't take damage. He's basically a glass cannon. So giving me ways to say I'm going to decrease damage for 9.5 seconds really ain't going to help. But here goes the really big whopping thing of all, right? Is that Gateway Summoning, Gate of Edge. so this skill right here, they chose that they're going to increase the cooldown, right, for 50% increase, and the damage is going to also be increased by 50%. So you're going to see a 50% damage increase overall, and then the damage numbers should also be a 50% increase. Whether or not this is going to make this skill usable is going to be questionable, right? Because the problem with Doctor Strange is legitimately that my man just does not have the ability to cast these skills and have these skills actually land on non-PvP targets. Like, this is, put it this way, all his skill changes aren't going to help. Like, they're not addressing the thing that's overall. You mention and you say inside here is that he was meant to be used with cooldown reduction, but he has long ass animations in all of his skills. But you did nothing inside these notes to annotate that you were improving the animations across his skills. It's all of his skills, not just the 1 or 2. And then we get into his specializations. So specialization, we gotta talk about this. So they chose time manipulation, this skill right here, time manipulation, force field. Oh, that's not it. Where we at? Where we at? Time manipulation. Where we at? This skill right here. So this is an illusion magic class skill. It decreases the remaining cooldown of all skills by 25% when using illusion magic class skills, right? So this had no cooldown on it before, meaning that if you had this skill up, you could literally rotate through all of his illusion magic class skills really easy in order to give yourself, you know, some maximum amount of cooldowns. And now they're going to increase it to 8-second cooldowns. I'm going to tell you how stupid they are. The problem with this is that you still cannot abuse this even at the 8-second cooldown before, right? With no cooldown, you couldn't abuse it. Why? Because when you use his illusion magic class skills, the thing that was hindering you was not the cooldown. The thing that was hindering you was literally the stamina recovery. You've added 2 layers inside here for a character that relied on cooldown reduction. So even if you get around his cooldown reduction, you don't get around his ability to apply stamina recovery. I'm not going to go deep into it because I'm going to make a separate video for Doctor Strange on these anyways. Now inside his potential, cool, they changed something inside here, right? These fucking idiots. So on number 4, he has status effect accuracy as a skill sitting here, and you can see that's 11.5% status effect accuracy. That's going to be changed to critical damage, so at max it'll be 16.58. Cool. Then on focus, however, it's cooldown decrease, and they're going to change this from cooldown 4.14% to critical rate 5.53%. I really think that they're idiots. I really do. I really think that they're perfect idiots. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. So, for instance, Doctor Strange does not have a lot of status effect accuracies. There is no reason for him to have status effect accuracy inside his enhanced potential. Cooldown, you just said cooldown reduction was what he was made to do. So why would you remove a potential that gives him cooldown decrease? You literally had status effect accuracy spell enhancement number 1 that you could have changed to critical rate. Remove the status effect accuracy from here. He doesn't have skills that rely on his cooldown status effect accuracy. Secondly, having ultimate gauge recovery makes no sense because you're not making any changes to that skill. I just don't get it. So why have those potentials change? I don't get it. So they're saying that they're going to have more elaborate hero skill descriptions on there. They're going to increase the quantity of conversion from dismantling costumes and cores, and they're going to have improvements made so that agents' attack contribution to the defeat of most wanted prime targets will be reset upon exiting Dark Zone. So this helps players that were already in there. You basically got defeated and players are still inside there. So instead of having your skills still applied inside there or whatever, I guess players now will bump up in rank because they're still there instead of your numbers being applied. I'm going to make another video about Doctor Strange to detail these more and to show you how stupid these things are. These are the most tone deaf, balanced batches that I've ever seen in my life. This is like there's no QA. They didn't take anything from any of the players who are currently playing these characters in their games and understanding. The one thing that they did overall that was an improvement in terms of balancing inside the game was just a fix for Spider-Man and Captain Marvel not being able to abuse their dodge recovery skills at will. That's it. Like legitimately from that patch note, that's all you needed to know, was that they literally just removed those. That was it. This is not an improvement at all for Doctor Strange, but I'll get into it with another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time, peace.